Okay, good morning, everyone, family, friends, leaders, kings, all around the world, Ohio, Cleveland, anywhere, wherever you are. Sunday, March 5th, recap day of the first month, technically the first 3 weeks. I think I'm going on. Thing is, I didn't do it perfectly in alignment with per month of the program. King's Initiation, I am on technically my 4th week, maybe day 26, I believe. But it's also the 5th of the month. So what I may have heard in videos past is that I just kind of wanted to carry through. So we have 3 weeks that we stay very ritualized, very routine, very disciplined to the program itself, and then we have a week off. Technically, not a week break. You don't want to stop your habits. You don't want to stop doing all the positive / breaking of the bad habits or starting of the good. But we're given a little more freedom, a little bit less attachment or less accountability from the group via more or less Zoom calls. We just don't have Zoom meetings on the daily like we would for the first. Sorry, we're in Portage County right now, so it's going to be a little bumpy. And I'm headed to church, so we have a little bit of a drive. We'll be okay. Jeez Louise, I hate these roads. But anyway, I kind of wanted to carry on, and so my 4th week, where it's tends to be off week, no Zoom meetings, and I kind of have a little more freedom. I wanted to carry through and just continue as disciplined as possible. However, as this is the recap video, I'm going to go into basically how the overall month went, and I'll just get into maybe some upgrades to next month's session series. So I actually think this upcoming month will allow me to fully get back on track. I don't know about fully, because there's an extra 4 days at the end of the month. So actually it's not going to be right, because this is also Lent. So I'm going to do a 5-day fast come April, I think it's 2nd through the 7th. And then I'm going to go to a concert for King and Country out in Columbus. It's on the 7th, so Lent doesn't end. I think Lent ends 7th, but I mean, you do you. And I thought it would have been cool to do a whole week of fasting. Yeah, I know that was my immediate reaction to. I'm sure if you know me at all, I've never done or not more than the past 3 times have done more than 3 days fasting, at least water fasting for that matter. I'm kind of maybe like a supplemental fast at most. But the past 3 weeks were relatively good. The first 3 fasts I did, I think were completely golden. Now, no. So the 2nd week, I believe I did a 60-hour fast. I remember I went grocery shopping the morning of that Friday, and I think I started eating about 6 hours, maybe 8 hours ahead of time. So a little up and a little down. Overall, just start with overall, I feel very content, very happy, very confident that the ritual and the process works. And that's the surprise, seeing as I did not expect under any circumstances that I was going to be able to uphold the end of the bargain of 10 to 15 habits, whether making or breaking. I'm usually a 1 or 2, maybe 3 habit maker and breaker at a time sort of guy, and that's without the help of other individuals, which I think was the biggest biggest difference, biggest help, even though I have not been utilizing the King's Initiation program very much at all. It's actually probably been one of my worst habits. I wanted to make it a part of Lent even, because I know how important it is to connect, but I just have not been doing well, even in the supporting aspect, which is something I'm usually good at. But I'm really good at supporting, like in person. So in the gym, I will be your spotter. I will be your energy feeder. I will be your personal, not your trainer. I mean, yeah, but I will be your workout partner, bro. I will be your dog. I will bark at you and I will bark with you. So to speak. Not so to speak, I will. But essentially, online, it's just so much more different. I don't know how much of this I kind of want to get into. I do have an idea, and it stems off of the when you send messages, you have the ability nowadays to vocalize a message. You can actually talk and record your voice. I would definitely like to have more of that, but once I tried it, I realized that I'm still not that good at it, because I'm still planning out what I want to say. It's still not like a conversation where you're just back and forth banter. Maybe not banter, but back and forth actual, just speaking from the so-called heart when you're having a heartfelt discussion. So if I have a question or something that I want to ask someone, usually it takes me a while, maybe not even a question, but like if I have something I really want to say to somebody and I don't know how to say it, it takes me a minute to write out a message, like a really important, deep, heartfelt response. So I try vocalizing it, and it's still kind of just as difficult. Not that it's impossible. Which one's easier? It's probably faster for me to do the vocal, but I think it's more to the point, more distinct when I text it, right? But it takes longer, you know? So, it's a weird it's a little bit difficult for me still to connect. I can tell you right now, in the beginning of the series, I actually justified it in my head. The program, I justified it in my head to almost not talk to people, out of the fear that it was fear-based, but my justification became that which was, like, I don't want to utilize. It's a stupid justification, I already know. This makes me feel awkward. But I guess the best way I can put it is, in the beginning of the program, I personally felt, or I don't want to say identify, but I know that the beginning should be easier. Maybe not for everybody, but for me, I knew it was time. I definitely knew it was time. I may not have known how well I would have stuck with it. You know, I definitely questioned how disciplined I would have stayed. But I knew it was time to make the change. And I wanted to see how far I could go, almost on my own, you know? I think that it just hit me there, that I wanted to see how far I could progress necessarily on my own, so to speak. Granted, I had the app, and I have the app to stay in touch with anyone. So if I had questions, I could always ask people. The Zoom meetings definitely kept me in touch and attentive. But I didn't want to have to ask almost generic questions. If you've seen some of my videos, maybe you've realized some of the confessionals or some of the random videos where, you know, some of the questions just may seem almost obvious to some, you know, that if you're you're grounded in your actions and you know what you're doing in life, you may not question some of the aspects of, you know, breaking and making habits, or staying connected, and anything of this nature. Any sort of becoming a man, you know, breaking off old ties, breaking away from the parents, you know, anything, you know. But I had them, and I questioned, and I decided to keep it in a vlog style, so to speak. And overall, I feel like I'm doing very, very well. For the first 2 weeks, I felt pretty darn powerful. I gotta be honest. I felt pretty darn powerful. I know I kind of slightly fell off the boat with the fasting at only 60, 65 hours the second time around. But it's still justifiable to me, seeing as it was still in the beginning, and I have a lot of, I'm very gluttonous. I'm a very big heathen when it comes to food, sugar especially. I suppose I could talk about it now, so I'll catch you up. I'll get you to current events in a minute. I do want to talk about the third week, which definitely became much more difficult. If you noticed my videos, you may have seen some of the difficulties arising in the aspect of religious or spiritual based questions. I had one day where I tried to buy the tickets for the for King of Country concert for my mother to just enjoy some time with my mom and just get out and just have a good experience. And I couldn't purchase it, and I got so upset. Because it was the first time where I knew that what I was doing was right. I knew that what I was doing was good, and it made sense, and I knew I was gonna do it. The problem was I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't make the purchase, you know, and it was stupid. And I got so upset, and I even barked, through text message at my mom, and it was just not good. I even realized it, you know, not being on drugs. Believe it or not, this is not even close to justifiable. But I could tell you that I knew first and foremost that what I was saying to her was just wrong. But I was so upset. I was so pissed. But objectively, knowing what I was saying was just like, this is not good, you know? And not being on drugs, it's like a lot of the times it's hard to realize the bad that you're doing. Even though when I personally use, I feel so enlightened. I feel so objective, and I just know what I'm talking about and thinking. Whatever. Anyway, so I'm not even gonna justify it. That person is dead and done. I would like to take it until my birthday, at least. I would also like to not intoxicate myself on my birthday. That's the next goal. So I want to make it not only through 90 days. That's the guaranteed goal. Pretty sure I'm gonna go 90 days without anything. But then it's also, and that's a proven one. That's one not to the group, but to somewhat to the group, but also to a really good Hosserton of mine, who has been staying sober for 33 years in the making. And I've known him for just about that. I'm 34, and I've known him since 2. Went to church with him for years. But he's been a really good role model of mine, and I've been trying to, he's known about my addictions, and kept in touch with him over the years, and finally I can say that this is it, officially, and I'm gonna go the 90, you know? So after the 90, you know, the next one is like my birthday, make it to the birthday, stay sober through the birthday, and just keep on carrying on, you know? Anyway, neither here nor there, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's future. So third week was just, it was faith-based. I definitely fell off the faith wagon. I got so upset that day that I denied God, and I denied just the aspect of religion and belief and faith and God's will. Now, I know most people, when they hear this, they'll probably turn this off, or they'll just turn the corner, turn the cheek, and I'll turn the cheek. Once I start going into faith and religion and God, I'm sure I lose a whole lot. I don't care. I've been under the influence of a lot of different belief systems over the years. And probably, I don't want to say more so than not, because I was kind of born I was almost born in a church. So most of my life I went, for the first 18 years of my life, I had to go to church every Sunday. Like, I was made to go to church by my parents. Now, I'm not going to say I was always, hoo-ha, yay-ha, praise God. I liked to sing, but it did not go without many questions and concerns. Once I went overseas, I was more or less off the bandwagon. I've gone through the atheist thinking process, but it just never did anything for me, folks. I'm sorry. If you don't believe, I'm not going to be able to, I don't want to say I'm not going to be able to help you, but I am under the absolute awareness that there has to be a higher power, and that evolution and the higher power can work together. So if you're a purely based evolutionary theorist, theory being the key word there, and you don't believe that God created, or you believe that something came from nothing, I'm not really sure how to help you quite yet. But you keep at it if you want, by all means. You know, I'm not going to hate on anyone. I actually implore people to delve into those aspects as much as possible. It's when, let's say, an example, let's say the complaining comes in, or there's random questions about how hard life is getting, or the confusion, where I end up asking questions and then eventually get riddled in an argument / conversation where I will defend the art of putting faith in something that you don't know, right? Because I am under the influence that you can't know all the answers. I can't know everything in the world. I can't know everything. So I'm just rambling now. I asked myself the question if there is an ultimate truth that human beings can come to an understanding to. And then it's a question of whether or not it's a earthly bound truth or an beyond earthly bound truth. And I want to be careful with this, because if you're atheist or not a believer in God, then after death can be questionable. Or outside of the earth even. Like, quite honestly, man, if you don't believe in a higher power, I don't see how you believe in anything outside of the earth, right? Because you also can't see, you know, you could say you see planets and other solar systems and galaxies and all that good stuff through science because they see it. You can believe all that, I guess, and Big Bang, but all that, I'm seeing less and less truth being in science because of, I forgot the term, I really did, but it's when you're looking for an answer and you find it because you're looking for that specific answer. I know there's a terminology, I know there's a term for this, It's when you take it. It's when you test a theory and then you find that it's accurate because you're testing it so specifically that there's no other outcome but the answer you're looking for. If that makes sense. I think it does. But essentially, like, theory is theory, folks. Theory of evolution is still a theory, and it's based on a myriad of scientific evidence that is formulated out of human understanding. That's as far as you can go, and that's it. And that's just not enough for me. It's not. It's just not. Sorry, folks. I'm not sorry. But I do have a ton of connections. This is the problem is that I'm having. This is the problem that I had this whole past week. Is I know too many people. I know way too many people. I'm very connected to these people. I love these people. Not stay in touch with too many people, but I love these people. I absolutely adore them, and it's very hard to connect at times because of such disconnecting ideals and beliefs and ways of living. Not that should get in your way, but I'm an individual who will go into the deep discussion. I hate small talk, folks. I can hate it. I won't do it. It's just boring. It's maniacal, monotonous. It's stupid. It's like I love the weather. Don't get me wrong. I have to, and I have to learn the weather to, it's part of my job. But beyond like the weather, it's like I don't know what to talk about at times. It's hilarious. Like sports, just. Man, the headphones are going in, folks. Bull crap. I want to talk about stuff that don't have an answer, right? Keep riddling off as much science as you want, but you can't know all the science because science is ever evolving, right? We're always learning new stuff, and a lot of the times those tests and theories get debunked by scientists. So I prefer faith. I enjoy it. It makes me feel a little bit more content, or at least it is nowadays. And I'm a happy man. I'm a happy camper. I did have one down week, but that's because I lost faith, right? I was reignited yesterday through a great conversation with an old pastor friend again. And I'm happy as a clam at the bottom of the ocean, whatever the frack that means. I got maybe 5 minutes of time at church, folks. So we will continue this. We will continue this all day. This is a great day. Yesterday, I hope you guys saw the exercise vlog that I made. Tons in there. I did my protein bar making. I made my protein bars, snacks. It's way too hot in here. Fuck. I have the bars with me. I'm going to pass them out at my family gathering today. And they have to stay cold. It's so funny. They've got to stay cold because I use coconut oil, and if they get almost room temperature, almost starts to turn all, liquidy a little bit, so it'll leave a fingerprint. I don't really want that. And the texture and the consistency when they're frozen, perfecto, folks, perfecto. Like candy. Oh, not like candy. That's too hard. But my, oh my. So, let's try and finish up at least a little bit more here. Last week, yeah, I'm over it, I went through the process of losing faith but regaining it. Let's say prayer is still a distraction. I started rewatching the deep dive videos. That's going to be currently now. I kind of want to stay focused on the past 3 weeks. I'm going to catch you guys up in the next video or so, and then talk about the future videos to come, future week, month to come, where we can make upgrades. Essentially, we want to make upgrades. The process stays the same, but I do want to get better, right? So there definitely was there definitely were accidents, so to speak. So let's say like TV shows, you know, or snacks. Snacks and TV shows are probably the two bigger ones. I actually, because yesterday was such a good day, I ended up watching 2 shows. And it was weird because I actually did it twice. I did it last night and the night before. The night before, they were both good days, though. That's the thing. I justified it the first night, 2 nights ago. Wasn't as justifiable as yesterday. But 2 days ago, I just had such a good day. I didn't know what else to do. There's plenty more that can be done, don't get me wrong. But I didn't feel that I really needed to hit any more goals. I felt so content. So I watched a couple episodes. Last night was a little bit different in that I literally felt burnt out. Not to a heavy extreme, but my exercise was so good. And the day itself was just so progressive that I literally felt burnt out. Like I wanted to, listen to some sort of informational talk. I just started the Jordan Peterson Genesis series, which is helping a little bit understand, right? Because I'm not a historical buff, but I am very intrigued with history. I don't want to just leave it all to faith. I want answers. I want to know. I love who we are, where we came from, and what happens next. Those are my 3 guys. Those are my 3. Look at these nutbags. One turning left, one turning right in the same place. I thought I could go a whole video without doing it. Oh no, too bad. Anyway, but yeah, where we come from is really big to me. History is really important. Shoot, I just lost it. I'm here though. So we'll continue. We will continue this later. Yeah, we'll continue this later, guys. See you guys soon. Live expressively. Peace.